Hello from Kingfisher, Oklahoma. Today we're looking at 1 Kings 3 and 4. Now Solomon is king after David has died, and he's solidified his rule in the last chapters. And he begins this chapter 3 by taking one of the many foreign wives he's going to marry over his time. And it's going to be a lot of them. So he decides to do this. It looks like from this chapter he's trying to put his kingdom in a better spot. He's trying to do what lots of kings do and reach out to another kingdom, marry somebody to kind of solidify the relationship there. First of all, he doesn't need to do this because he has God. And sometimes we get focused on what's out there and we forget that it doesn't matter what's out there if God is on our side and we are serving him. He can make the space against overwhelming odds of nations. How many times has Israel won a battle they should have no right winning? Many, many times. Well, secondly, what is going to end up happening is these women are going to cause Solomon trouble. They're going to pull him away from God. So this is a big mistake here. You might not catch it as you read through it, but there is a small but repeated problem in the book of Kings. And it goes something like this, that they are sacrificing and burning incense in places other than the tabernacle or the temple, the high places. You know, God has provided the way for this to be done. He said, you do this down at my tabernacle. This is the place, but people still kept going out and about. There is no permanent place, it says, and so maybe God is giving some grace here while that's happening. But the problem is that they're going to have this habit so that when there is a temple, and they should be doing there, we're going to see repeatedly over and over kings and the nation going to these high places instead of the temple. So that's a problem. God appears and asks Solomon what he wants God to do for him. And Solomon famously chooses wisdom rather than long life or wealth. And goodness gracious, I'm sure at different phases of my life, if God had appeared and offered me this suggestion, I would have taken different things. I was thinking about that as I was going through this. What would I choose now? And pretty intense. So Solomon chooses wisdom and to rule the people and to do the right thing. And God makes him the wisest person that isn't God. You know, Jesus is obviously wiser, but the wisest non-God human to ever grace the earth. It says wiser than anyone before, wiser than anyone after. And if you look through the book of Psalms and Proverbs and Ecclesiastes and all these books that he had handed, you see this brilliance. He sees to the core of the issues and can give wisdom. So it's a gift from God. Almost immediately that wisdom is tested. It's a very famous story. Two women are fighting over the baby. They're both claiming to be the mom of the live baby because there is a dead baby. And Solomon solves it through the wisdom God gave him. And it's a very, very good story. And it's not surprising that he has this wisdom because it's gifted to him from God. So then we close out with a list of who's who in the kingdom and what Solomon is up to. So let's jump in. Chapter 3. Solomon made affinity, that means like a truce, with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and took Pharaoh's daughter and brought her to the city of David until he had made an end of building his own house and the house of the Lord and the wall of Jerusalem round about. Only the people sacrificed in high places because there was no house built to the name of the Lord until those days. And Solomon loved the Lord, walking in the statutes of David his father. Only he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places. So that's, if it's mentioned, it's not the best thing. And in the law, it should be happening in the tabernacle. And the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for it was a great high place, and 1,000 burnt offerings did Solomon offer on that altar. In Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God asked what I shall give thee. And Solomon said, thou shewed mercy unto thy servant David, my father, great mercy, according as he walked before thee in truth, and in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart with thee. And thou hast kept for him this great kindness, that thou hast given him a son to sit on the throne, as it is to this day. And now, O Lord my God, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child. I do not know how to go out or to come in. And thy servant is in the midst of the people which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered or counted for multitude, and shouldn't be, as we learned from David. Give therefore thy servant the understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this great people? And this speech pleased the Lord, that Solomon asked for this thing. And God said to him, Because thou hast asked for this thing, and hast not asked for long life, neither hast thou asked riches for thyself, nor hast thou asked the life of thine enemies, but hast asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee. And I have also given thee that which thou hast not asked, both riches and honor, so that there will not be any among the kings like unto thee all thy days. And if thou wilt walk unto my ways and keep my statutes and my commandments, as thy father David did walk, then I will lengthen thy days. So he's going to get a little bit of everything if he follows God. And Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And he came to Jerusalem and stood before the ark of the covenant of the Lord and offered up burnt offerings. He's gone to the right spot to offer some more, and made a feast to all his servants. Then came there 2 women who were harlots, who shouldn't be under the law in Egypt. So we're still not completely following God, are we, Israel? And stood before him. And the one woman said, O Lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass on the 3rd day that I was delivered, that this woman delivered also. And we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we 2 in the house. And this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it. Basically, she squished it. She laid on it till it died. And she arose at midnight and took my son from me, while thine handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. Then I arose in the morning to give my child suck. Behold, it was dead. So I went to feed it, and it had died. But when I considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son which I did bear. The other woman said, Nay, but the living son is mine, and the dead son is thine. And this said, No, but the dead is thy son, and the living son is my son. And so they spake before the king. It's mine. No, you are. Then the king said, One saith, This is my son that liveth, and thy son is dead. And the other said, Nay, but thy son is dead, and my son is living. The king said, Bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before him. And the king said, Divide the living child in 2, and give half to the one, and half to the other. Then spake the woman whose the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yet yearned upon her son. When it says bowels, remember that's like her heart. And she said, O my lord, give her the living child, and no wise slay it. But the other said, Let it neither be mine nor thine, but divide it. Then the king said, Give her the living child, and no wise slay it. She's the mother thereof. And all Israel heard it, but that which the king had judged, and they feared the king and saw the wisdom of God was in him to do judgment. So pretty intense situation. Mom just doesn't want her baby sliced in half, and so she says, rather than it die, you have it. And so he knows that's the real mom. Good job, King Solomon. Chapter 4. So King Solomon was over all Israel. These were the princes which he had: Azariah the son of Zadok the priest, Eliahoreph and Ahiah, the sons of Shisha, scribes, Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahulud, the recorder, Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was over the host, and Zadok and Abiathar were the priests. Some of these also served David. Azariah, the son of Nathan, was over the officers, and Zabud, the son of Nathan, was principal officer and the king's friend. Ahishur was over the household, and Adoniram, the son of Abda, was over the tribute. Solomon had 12 officers over Israel, which provided victuals for the king and his household. Each man in his month, in the year, made provision. These are their names: the son of Hur in Mount Ephraim, the son of Decher in Machaz, and in Shalbim, and in Bethshemesh, and El-Beth-Hanan, the son of Hesed in Erebuth. To him pertained Soko and all the land of Hepher. the son of Abinadab in the region of Dor, which had Tepheth, the daughter of Solomon, to wife. Bana, the son of Ahilud, to him pertained Tanah and Megiddo, and all Bethshean, which is by Zartanah, beneath Jezreel, from Beshan to Abel Meholah, even to the place that is beyond Jokneam. The son of Gabor in Ramoth Gilead, to him pertained the towns of Jair. The son of Manasseh, which are in Gilead, to him pertained the region of Argob, which is in Bashan, 80 great cities with walls and brazen bars. Ahinadab, the son of Iddo, had Mahanaim. Ahimaaz, the son of Naphtali, he also took Basemath, the daughter of Solomon, as a wife. Bana, the son of Hushai, was in Asher in Aloth. Jehoshaphat, the son of Paruah, in Issachar. Shimei, the son of Elah, in Benjamin. Gaber, the son of Uri, was in the country of Gilead, and the country of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, and Og, king of Bashan, and he was the only officer which was in the land. Judah and Israel were many as the sand of the sea by the multitude, eating and drinking and making merry. Solomon reigned over the kingdoms from the river of the land of the Philistines unto the border of Egypt. They brought presents and served Solomon all the days of his life. Solomon's provision for one day was 30 measures of fine flour, and 80 measures of meal, 10 fat oxen, 20 oxen out of the pastures, 100 sheep, besides harts and roebucks and fallow deal and fatted fowl. And he had dominion over all the region, so they ate a lot. He had a lot of guys to feed, servants and things. He had dominion over all the region this side of the river, from Tipsah even to Azah, over all the kings on this side of the river, and he had peace on all sides about him. And Judah and Israel dwelt in safely, every man under his vine and under his fig tree. And Dan even to Beersheba, all the days of Solomon. Solomon had 40,000 stalls of horses for his chariots, and 12,000 horsemen. And those officers provide victual for the king, and all that came unto Solomon's table, every man in his month, they lacked nothing. Barley also, and straw for the horses, and dromedaries brought they unto the place where the officers were, every man according to his charge. And God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand is on the seashore. Part of that is taxation coming in, all the food stuffs. Remember, they spent a whopping 10% on tax. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country, and all the wisdom of Egypt. For he was wiser than all men, than Ethan the Ezrahite, and Heman, and Chalcol, and Darda, and the sons of Mahal, and his fame was in nations all around. He spake 3,000 proverbs. His songs were 1,005. He spake of trees, from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even to hyssop that springeth out of the wall. He spake also of beasts, and of fowl, and of creeping things, and of all fishes. And there came of all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon from all the kings of the earth, which had heard of his wisdom. So, very wise, and has peace, and so far following God, so good for him. And so we'll see what happens in Solomon's life in this book of Kings. David set him up pretty nicely, but you don't get anywhere in the kingdom of God by your parents. You get a foundation, yes, but you are judged on your own stature. You can build on that foundation you've been given towards God, but you can also destroy what's been built. So hopefully you're making great choices, going towards Jesus, building your own foundation, helping build your children's foundation. So anyway, catch us next time. We'll find out what's happening with Solomon. See you then.